Happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Atriox, and we're back with another Marvel Rivals reaction video. So we finally get in the video where they talk about matchmaking. It's an 18-minute long video, so I hope we get a lot of good details on what matchmaking is, because for last week and a half I kind of was going on a losing streak for 6 losses every now and then. And they said it's not EOMM, but I don't know, bro. It doesn't feel natural, I guess I would say. So I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do here. Personally, I think this can go either way. It could be good for the game or it could be bad for the game, because whenever it comes to matchmaking and how things go with it, it can go bad. Just thinking back at I know I've said it before, but the whole Call of Duty thing, when they kept denying SBMM, and that wasn't in the game, and then it was proven, and then they lost a lot of trust. I hope that doesn't happen here. I hope they actually give us a good reason of what's going on with the actual matchmaking. So we're gonna check it out. But anyways, let's jump at this, because the video is already gonna be long. So we've heard your feedback on matchmaking and ranking in Marvel Rivals, and your voices matter. Check out our lead combat designer Zijong as he shares our developer insights on the matchmaking and ranking system. Watch the full video to see this is behind the game. All right, so yeah, like I said, this is either gonna be good for the game or it's gonna be bad for the game. So let's check out what they have to say.
I'm Zijong. We've heard your passionate feedback and ongoing discussions about matchmaking and ranking in Marvel Rivals. Your voices matter, and we want to give you a transparent look into how these systems work and what we are doing to improve them. Quick heads up, any numbers used are for illustrative purpose only, and the calculation process is also simplified for easier understanding and does not represent the full detailed formulas.
Okay.
After every competitive match, your score is calculated based on 2 key components: base points and performance points, each weighted according to your current rank. Okay. The formula looks like this.
You don't think it's base points plus.
This depends on match outcome, your current competitive score, average competitive score of the enemy team. First, the match result determines whether you gain or lose points. Win and you will gain points, lose and you will lose points. Second, the difference between your competitive score and the enemy team's average competitive score affects how many points you gain or lose.
Okay.
If a player's competitive score is lower than that of the enemy team, the system recognizes that the player is challenging a stronger opponent. In this case, a victory will grant an extra bonus to the base points, while a defeat will result in fewer points deductions. The reverse applies when facing lower ranked teams.
Okay.
Examples: players' competitive score 3,500, enemy team's average 3,500. Win plus 20 base points, lost minus 20 base points.
Okay, so the even.
Players' competitive score 3,500. Enemy team's average 3,700. Win plus 25 base points. Lost minus 15 base points.
Okay, so if you're challenging a stronger opponent, so you would obviously gain more, but you would lose less than if you would just challenge somebody of your own rank, which I guess kind of makes sense. So for a 200 difference basically in score give you an extra 5 points. So every 200 is 5 points. Okay.
Players' competitive score 3,500. Enemy team's average 3,300. Win plus 15 base points. Lost minus 25 base points. Okay.
So basically, if you lose to somebody that's not as high rank as you are, you're gonna lose more points than you would in a normal game. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I guess it's kind of like how they just do it with the points.
This reflects your individual performance tailored to your hero's role. Performance points reflect how well you played during the match. Because heroes in Marvel Rivals have widely different powers and roles, we don't just tally up stats. Even if two players contribute equally to the outcome, their raw stats may look very different depending on which hero they played.
Okay.
Instead, to accurately evaluate your impact, we use several steps to calculate performance points. For each hero used in the match, we normalize match stats to a per 10-minute value and convert that into a single performance value. We compare that to the average performance value for that same hero at your rank, also per 10 minutes. That gives a hero-specific performance coefficient. The better you perform versus the average, the higher your coefficient. If you played multiple heroes, we time weight those to get your match coefficient. We then compare your performance coefficient to your team's average to determine.
Okay. The performance points calculate steps, right? For each hero used in the match, we normalize match stats to a per 10-minute value and convert that into a single performance value. So obviously they're taking the average of all the characters you use for that 10-minute match. Okay. We compare that to the average performance value for the same hero at your rank, also per 10 minutes. This gives a hero-specific performance coefficient. The better you perform versus the average, the higher your coefficient. Okay, so the better you perform versus, like, I guess, average, like DPS type role, if you're playing DPS, the better your coefficient. Obviously, the score. If you played multiple heroes, we time weight those to get your match coefficient. Okay. We then compare your performance coefficient to your team's average to determine your final performance points. So then you take that and you check out how your team's performing, and then depending on like how well you do, you get more points versus less points, or even equal points to the team. Okay, I understand.
Determine your final performance points. Examples. A Diamond 1 player spends 4 minutes as Loki and 6 minutes as Invisible Woman in a 10-minute match. Let's break down the performance points calculation.
Okay.
First, the system converts their in-game stats to 10-minute averages and then convert them into performance value. Assuming Loki has a performance value of 1,200 and Invisible Woman has 1,000. Next, the system finds the average performance value for Diamond 1 players with those heroes, which we will assume Loki and Invisible Woman both are 1,000. We then calculate the performance coefficients. Loki's coefficient is 1.2, while Invisible Woman's is 1. This is then weighted by playtime. The overall coefficient works out to be 1.08. Finally, this player's coefficient is compared to the other 5 teammates. Let's say that they are 1, 1, 0.8, 0.8, and 1.15, resulting in an average of 0.97. This gives us the final adjusted performance coefficient of 1.11. Once both your base points and performance points are calculated, your final score is determined by weighting these two paths. The weights vary by rank. As you climb the ranks, the weighting of base points will gradually increase, while performance points weighting decreases. In lower ranks, performance points have a higher weight to help skilled players rise faster. Higher ranks shift weight towards base points for consistency. Example: a player wins a rank match, earning 20 base points and 30 performance points. If the player is in silver, with a base point weight of 0.4 and a performance point weight of 0.6, the final score gained is 26. If the player is in celestial, with a base point weight of 0.7 and a performance point weight of 0.3, the final score gained is 23.
Okay.
Our players hail from all corners of the globe, each with different time zones and connection speeds. Balancing fast matchmaking with fair matches has always been our challenge and focus for ongoing improvement.
Need more servers.
In Marvel Rivals, players are matched based on server node selection, team composition, competitive score. Once matchmaking starts, the system looks for opponents on your chosen server or servers. As wait time increases, the system gradually expands the search to higher and lower ranks, helping you get into a match promptly. The expansion is kept to prevent unbalanced games. Once we have 12 players within the acceptable rank range, the match is set. Teams are then arranged to minimize differences in average competitive scores.
Okay, I see what
Team
you're saying
matchmaking is based on team size. For fairness, a 6-player team will only face another 6-player team.
Obviously.
Fighting an exact match can take time when taking into account all the factors, like competitive scores, server selection, etc. Since launch, 5-player teams have been disabled to protect solos. For other team size, the system opens up to more combinations as wait time increases. Take a 4-player team, for example. The first system tries to match with another 4-player team, but if none are promptly found, it will eventually expand to mixed teams like 4-1-1 versus 3-2-1. Longer waits means broader competitive scores ranges, and reaching the upper limit of the range can result in a difference in scores between the two teams.
Okay.
From the matchmaking results, this would appear to be an unbalanced battle. However, tightening the rules would mean much longer waits and a bad experience. This is the core challenge, balancing matchmaking quality and speed. Team queues make this speed versus quality trade-off more noticeable. At higher ranks, there are fewer players and they are spread across different servers, so this happens more often. So, after careful review, starting in Season 3.5, we've temporarily restricted teams of 4 or 6 players from matchmaking at higher ranks, where their balanced matches are harder to find. Moving forward, we will continue to explore new solutions to better meet the diverse needs of players.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good move, personally. I think you restricting people to 3-man teams, there's a lot of people who play together that are like in 4-man, 5-man, 6-man teams that, like, you know, honestly, as a solo player, I don't care if I go against a full team. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. Like, I don't know why people care so much. Like, personally, for me, it makes me better because I have to play against a full team that's coordinated and making call outs and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of them doing that because, like, even though I play mainly solo, I don't think that you should restrict that just because you want it to be fair. Like, honestly, it's a video game. Most of the time, like, it's not going to be fair. Like, that's part of the challenge. That's like, it's like people are afraid of competition nowadays. People are afraid to play against better players that are gonna, like, really give them a challenge and, like, you know, even just completely just smack them around. Like, you're not gonna get better at the game if you just play against people your speed. Like, you only get better when you play against people that are better than you, so you can see what they're doing and learn from what they're doing to kind of just add to your own game. That's why I think these SBMM, EOMM, like all these other systems, they kind of like really take away from the experience of actually growing, getting better at a game.
To help you better understand how the matchmaking system works, here's an example scenario. Suppose player A teams up with player B and player C to queue for competitive. In this scenario, player A is Diamond 1, player B is Diamond 3, player C is Platinum 1. The average rank of this 3-player team is around Diamond 3.
Okay.
They select only the Oregon server node for matchmaking. Since there aren't enough teams of the same size and rank in the queue on this node, the matchmaking system gradually expands the search range as time passes. After 5 minutes, the system finds 9 more players who meet the criteria. These 9 players include another 3-player team with an average rank of Platinum 1, a 2-player team with an average rank of Diamond 2, and 4 solo players, player D, Diamond 1, player E, Diamond 2, player F, Platinum 1, player G, diamond 2. To ensure fairness, the system first places the two 3-person teams on opposite sides. Then, the remaining team compositions are Side A, 3-player team plus 2-player team plus 1 solo player. Side B, 3-player team plus 3 solo players. Now, the exact team split is determined by the solo players to make both sides' average ranks as close as possible. The fairest division is Side A, 3-player team, diamond 3 average, plus 2-player team, diamond 2 average, plus player F, platinum 1. Side B, 3-player team, platinum 1 average, plus player D, diamond 1, plus player E, diamond 2, plus player G, diamond 2. In this scenario, there are still notable rank gaps within each side.
Right.
For example, Side A's player F, platinum 1, and Side B's player D, diamond 1, each have a 2 to 3 division differences from their teammates. This means there can be internal team imbalances. Assume once the match begins, the role selections are as follows. Side A, the 3-player team picks a vanguard player A, duelist player B, and strategist player C. The 2-player team chooses a vanguard and a duelist. Player F, a duelist main, sticks with his preferred role instead of filling the missing strategist slot. To balance the team, the duelist player B from the 3-player team fills as a strategist. Side B, the 3-player team picks a vanguard, duelist, and strategist. Player D picks an additional strategist. Player E picks another vanguard. Player G picks another duelist. We believe that this is a situation many players have encountered before.
Right.
In this case, Side B has a strategic advantage, as all 6 players are playing their main roles. On Side A, a duelist main is forced to fill as a strategist.
Yeah.
And the lowest ranked player.
That's true, bro. And the amount of times I've had to swap just to fill out a role because like a lot of these other players, they don't play anything but like duelist, and then like they're not good with duelist. It sucks, dude. It sucks. Like the last, like yesterday, I just spent the whole day filling as tank because nobody was playing tank, and everybody who played tank just were bad. They don't know how to create space. They don't know how to peel for their healers, peel for DPS. They're getting focused. Like they don't know how to like put pressure on the enemy team. So like it was just easier for me to swap to be able to win the game.
Player is also playing duelist, which may weaken the team's synergy.
Right.
Recently, we have received a lot of feedback from the community, with many players believing that our matchmaking system employs EOMM, engagement optimized matchmaking. This would imply manipulating the matchmaking queue to keep players' win rates around 50%, ensuring they remain engaged in the game. We want to be clear, Marvel Rivals does not use EOMM. So, why do some matches feel uneven? Why do certain...
I need to know, because I feel like I get like the young Avengers and another team is like the grizzled Avengers. Like it's crazy how the synergy works, bro. Always on my enemy team, they're always like freaking working together. Even like, bro, I need to know that.
Some players encounter win or loss streaks. We would like to take this opportunity to provide some insights, hoping to clarify some of the confusion for everyone.
Well, if they say get good, I'm gonna die.
In a competitive two-sided game, the fewer players on each side, the more accurately the competitive score reflects individual skill.
I knew it!
However, as team size increases, this accuracy drops, since even if both teams have identical average scores, other factors like teamwork and coordination can sway the outcome.
Yeah.
Additionally, because we don't lock roles, players might end up playing a role they are less comfortable with, which means they may not perform at their rank's full potential. Even if you are assigned your preferred role, playing a hero you are less skilled with can also affect your impact in the match.
True.
So, why don't we add role queue? First, we believe that allowing players the freedom to play as their favorite superheroes and team up with others to create diverse creative team combos encourages more varied strategies and gameplay. Second, adding role-based matchmaking would significantly increase queue times, while still failing to fully eliminate skill discrepancies between matches. Where there are choices, there will be differences. Objectively, it's quite challenging to have an equal number of players across the three roles. To strike a balance between matchmaking speed and fairness, the competitive score ranges for each role would have to differ. Roles with fewer players would have lower competitive score thresholds, while roles with more players would require higher thresholds. This, in turn, will lead to greater variance in match quality. We are working to introduce more interesting vanguards and strategies in future updates to give players more choices. But these changes will take time to develop.
Right.
We thank you for your patience.
And they did talk about this in like the last video we did for Marvel Rivals, where they were talking about how they want to introduce more vanguard and strategists, but everything's like on a timetable because it takes time to get the characters like cleared with Marvel, because they have to go through and make sure everything's like copacetic. I get that. Okay, that's not a problem.
This, in turn, will lead to greater variance in match quality. We are working to introduce more interesting vanguards and strategies in future updates to give players more choices. But these changes will take time to develop. We thank you for your patience. Statistically, win and loss streaks are a matter of probability. For example, if two sides are truly 50-50, over 3 games, the chance of 3 consecutive wins or losses is 12.5%. Over 10 games, the chance of 3 or more wins or losses in a row rises to 50%. So, over enough games, everyone will eventually experience win or loss streaks. For those interested, you can use tools to calculate the probability of achieving a streak, whether it's 5 consecutive wins or 5 consecutive losses, under different win rate scenarios over 10 matches. Of course, the game isn't pure math. Several in-game factors can increase the likelihood and impact of streaks, making these experiences feel more pronounced. For example, team average scores are rarely perfectly balanced.
Right.
So actually win rates may not be exactly 50%. When queuing consecutively, you may face some of the same players in back-to-back games.
But it's not even just that too. It's like you also got trolls and people throw if they don't get certain characters, or like people or just will get upset and like will sit in queue and would rather tank the team's rank than actually go out and try. Like there's so many other factors to, because like, yeah, granted, beforehand you can get 50% chance of winning, but then you got like these trolls and like people who just like are either their way or the highway and will tank your rank if they don't get their way. Like there's so many other factors to it that, you know, it really impacts it. And like honestly with the streaks too, like they're kind of all, there's so many variances to matchmaking that I feel like, you know, because like even when I was playing as the strictly duelist, like there would be times where I wouldn't have it, we would have tanks, but the tanks just wouldn't do their jobs properly. And like even though I was going out and I was getting the kills, I was getting behind the back line, I was disrupting the back line, the people in the front weren't pushing, so it kind of just like I was doing it for no reason, because as soon as they just went right back to pushing my front line. It's hard to communicate with people who don't have their mics on as well. I wish there was more options for voice lines, like say attacking or ambushing, or you know, going around. Some more options to communicate doesn't require voice chat, because a lot of people don't play in voice chat. It would make the game a little bit easier to communicate with if there's more type of voice lines you can just kind of do so people understand where you're going. I feel like Smite does a really good job with that,
which can carry over the outcome chance from previous matches. This is even more common in team matchmaking. where the pool of available combinations is smaller, especially during off-peak hours or in less populated regions. Even if the probability of a streak occurring is just 1%, Marvel Rivals' large player base means many will experience that.
I experienced it last week for sure.
We are constantly analyzing feedback and refining our systems. Your trust and input help us shape a better experience. Thank you for being part of the Marvel Rivals community. We are excited to keep improving with you.
So, all right, let's talk about everything we just saw, right? How do we feel about what was explained? Because personally, it just felt like they said get good. That's literally what it feels like, because they can break down all the numbers stuff. Like me myself, I'm not like super like into the number aspect of like gaming and stuff like that. I can see the master break it down, but like, okay, I understand that part of it, of how you get the rank rewards. But like, I don't know, bro. Them saying it just doesn't exist in the game without like showing, I feel like, proof that it doesn't exist in the game. I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know if I still stand, if I stand with the fact that it was proven that they didn't have it, because like they didn't show nothing that really proved that it's not in the game. You know what I mean? It just kind of like was talking about the variables of that way, and just talking about gamer skill, stuff like that. Like, and obviously they wouldn't show that stuff because you know, they don't want to tip their hand on anything that's inside of the actual system and how it works against competition, yada yada yada. But I don't know, like, I won't say this isn't a nothing burger, but like I don't know, bro. I feel like it doesn't really do enough for me personally because of the way the system works. Because like obviously when you play people in higher ranks than you, you're more than likely gonna lose, because like they're higher ranks than you for a reason. They understand positioning and stuff like that a little bit better than you may at that particular time. Obviously, if you play against people lower ranked than you, more than likely you're gonna win. So I don't know, bro. I feel like when it comes to matchmaking, it's very difficult to kind of like sit there and give you accurate representation of like the game, how the game's gonna work, because like especially when you open the ranks, because I feel like this is one of those games that I felt like I haven't really, that I played, that I haven't really seen where they put higher ranked players in lower ranked lobbies. Because like when I played Rocket League, it wasn't like that. Mortal Kombat, it's not like that. It's like all like in the same kind of rank, but with Marvel Rivals expanding it to a higher and lower variable, it creates, I think that's where it creates a feeling of unevenness, because of like, if your teammates are like on the lesser value, meanwhile your opponents are in the higher value, you're gonna lose more than likely, and it's gonna feel like you're being targeted with EOMM. I think that's where the unevenness and like kind of like where people feel like the game is unfair, because the higher ranks obviously understand the game a little bit better because they've gotten to a point where we're trying to go. So it's a bit difficult. Personally, you know, it just felt like it was a bunch of like just get good at the end of it, which I'm fine with. Like obviously I want to play against players that are better than me that way, because like that in a way it's like, I don't know if I would say it's like a skill-based matchmaking. You obviously we play with players that are around your skill, but with this system it's not skill-based matchmaking, and it just kind of leans more towards not EOMM, because obviously you're playing against you're playing against higher ranked players. So like I don't know, it's not exactly like what they're trying to say, where it's like, oh, we want people to be free, but at the same time, like it's like a soft skill-based matchmaking. I think that it kind of like the way I'm trying to go about saying it, because like obviously you don't go above, just it's like the one rank above, one rank below, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. This is a bit weird. Personally, I don't really think it moves the needle too much in either direction. I feel like it was a good explanation of like, I guess, how the variable works and how points and stuff like that's accrued, because a lot of times it's like I'll play a game and I'll be like, how I didn't get MVP, or you know, why I got this amount of points. Like I guess this is good for that aspect of it, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Peace.